Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts discussion video. It's actually been a little while since we last said that. Nostalgic. Today for you guys, I wanted to talk about specifically Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, mainly because that's sort of the talk of the town of the Kingdom Hearts community as of right now. And while yes, we have talked about the whole idea of Union Cross, Unchained Key, Kingdom Hearts Key, at some stage later on down the track being remade into a proper experience, I feel like this is more relevant than ever, especially with recent happenings with the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, especially with the Union Cross finale that dropped only very recently. Over the past couple of years, the importance towards Union Cross has been ramping up and up and up. I think really ever since, honestly, the introduction of specifically the title change of Union Cross with the introduction of the Dandelion leaders, with more origin story towards Marluxia, Ventus, further learning about the characters of Scold and Ephemer, the data version of Daybreak Town and the importance behind that. While Key and Unchained Key contained an interesting story for an origin setup of the entire Kingdom Hearts series, with introducing these lost masters, ancient masters known as the Foretellers, and as well as also introducing probably what is the most important character now to the entirety of the series, the Master of Masters, who seems to be the next villain for the next saga, or perhaps the saga afterwards. We don't know really where the story is going to go, though it's been hard to gauge over the past few years as to exactly what the Master's intentions are. It would seem like it is from a villain's standpoint, so yeah, I would say that although some of his intentions seem like they're for the greater good with the whole eradication of darkness, the way that he's going about which, in similar fashion to kind of like Xehanort, is not good. It ain't good. This man and his morals are kind of fucked up. Anyway, so yeah, since Union Cross was introduced, just the importance factor of this mobile phone game has absolutely been ramping up. I feel like we got to a point with Union Cross where it's like, alright, this is important. It would be cool if this were to be remade at some point, because there is some lore and information in here that I think people are going to need to know going forward for the future of the series, Saga 2. But then the finale dropped and oh my god, people are going to be lost in the middle of fucking nowhere. Kind of similar in my situation with being in New Zealand, out in the middle of fucking nowhere. If they do not experience the lore that is contained in just specifically Part 1 and 2 of the Union Cross finale. This is so important for the future of the series. Ephemer appeared in Kingdom Hearts 3 to do with the massive Demon Tide segment, where Sora summoned forth hundreds and hundreds of Keyblades from fallen Keyblade wielders. I mean, for someone that hasn't experienced Kingdom Hearts Key, those people would have no idea what the fuck is going on and who that character is. Going forward too, I can only assume that Ephemer is going to be a character of importance. I mean, we've recently found out that he is the founder of Scala. Scala, we only got like a real small little taste test towards within number 3. That's probably going to be a full-blown thing come the future of the series. The Master of Masters, well, I mean, dang it on a slang it. Again, as I was saying, it seems like he's going to be the villain of the future. It's kind of important that everyone gets the context of the Master that was presented to us within Union Cross. The accessibility of this lore is benign. It's absolutely ridiculous that Square Enix are holding back such important key points for the Kingdom Hearts series within a mobile phone game, one that I know most of the community has given up on. And for a newcomer, they're not gonna bother to download some free-to-play mobile game to get some lore. Now look, I do understand that once the Union Cross service ends come I believe it's June 17th or June 15th or something, there is going to be an offline version of Union Cross. It will get updated, meaning that basically everything becomes unlocked. You can use any avatar part, you can use any keyblade, as well as the theater mode within the game too. That becomes fully unlocked in the sense of you don't need to go through all 979 quests in order to experience the story. But oh my god, forget even having to actually play the game to then get all the cutscene content. Just going through the cutscene content, holy smokeriness! You've gone ahead and burnt the chicken, expecting us to do fucking that. There is so much cutscene content in amongst all 979 quests in order to actually get the proper context. The story of Union Cross needs to be watered down, and if you're expecting people to go through that much cutscene content with so much filler in between, especially with the Disney worlds, a lot of that stuff really doesn't matter when it comes to the overarching story of Union Cross. People are going to give up after cutscene 12. I'd be surprised if they even get to cutscene 12. That's a lot of content to get through. What I really do hope though is that for when Square Enix do end up unlocking the theater mode when the service ends, I really hope they streamline the important story cutscenes, not all of this filler Disney stuff, into its own separate category. The cutscenes that do matter and do pertain to that of the future of the games. At the moment, the way that the theater mode is laid out is by worlds, so like if you want to watch any of the worlds pertaining to one specific worlds, then you go on over to, let's say, the Enchanted Dominion tab. If you want to watch any of the cutscenes to do with Dwarf Woodlands, you go over to the Dwarf Woodlands tab. But there's no real clear indicator as to what is a quote-unquote filler cutscene and what is an important story cutscene. So I honestly pray that they streamline this somehow. Even with that being said though, there is still a lot of story content even when looking at the important story cutscenes, and I know for a lot of people, their attention span is going to wear thin, especially because of what Union Cross is, with just having to continually read, tap, through a ridiculous amount of dialogue. So this is where the whole thing of this story desperately needs to be remade so that the ease of access for the lore that is presented here is that much better. Because expecting people to go through all of that, you're expecting a little bit too much. Now, I do have to say, I find it a little bit uncanny that Kingdom Hearts Union Cross has come to close so soon before E3. Now, before I get into this specifically, I do want to say, I'm not really expecting any Kingdom Hearts at E3 this year. Square Enix's plate is absolutely full, not including Kingdom Hearts. They have so many different projects going on. They got a new Idios title apparently coming out that was announced last night with their E3 information. There is that rumored Final Fantasy Origins thing. We know that we've got Final Fantasy 16. Currently at the moment too, Square Enix are hard at work for Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. Although I don't know if I'm going to hear about that at E3, likely not. Babylon's Fall is confirmed to be back. Yes, finally they're going to be showing off more of that at E3. We've also got Forspoken. I mean, there's just so much going on specifically at the moment. As well as that too, like, I believe at the start of the year, Nomura also mentioned, like, don't expect Kingdom Hearts for a little while. We're taking a slight break. He mentions that he hopes to talk to us in the not too distant future, but I think what that means more so is for Kingdom Hearts' 20th anniversary. I think that's when everything for Kingdom Hearts will start to ramp up again in the way of announcements, reveals, all that good jazz. However though, I do find it really uncanny, and I can't help but feel like, because we know that there are multiple teams working on multiple different Kingdom Hearts projects at the moment, I just can't help but feel like perhaps maybe one of them is some type of Kingdom Hearts Key / Union Cross type remake of sorts. Now, what this could be, it could be multiple different things. Now, number one, a full-blown installment, like a full-blown console-based experience, where you start off the story of Key, you create your own character, because keeping in mind, the player character, the literal player, is actually important to that of the story. We of course know that player gets reincarnated as Xehanort, so that whole custom character thing needs to somehow be integrated into this remake if it is going to happen. This idea, I'm specifically talking about a single player experience with the knowing Kingdom Hearts gameplay in between. You visit some of the familiar Disney worlds, because most of them in Union Cross are familiar Disney worlds, aside from, of course, one, Game Central Station and the Wreck-It Ralph world. And of course, this would give us a chance to explore Daybreak Town in all of its glory. We do know that there are parts of Daybreak Town actually developed within the Unreal Engine 4, as we've seen in Kingdom Hearts Key back cover. Another idea could be an MMORPG, considering the fact that this game was an online game to a certain degree just for your mobile phone. The whole concept of Kingdom Hearts Key could work absolutely perfectly as an MMORPG. I have been clamoring to get some type of a Kingdom Hearts MMORPG. I'm a bit of an MMO head. I played a lot of WoW during my time, dipped into a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV, but to have like a Kingdom Hearts experience in the setting of an MMORPG with perhaps some of that familiar Kingdom Hearts gameplay in between would just be amazing. Honestly, this would be the option that would make the most sense, considering that the whole idea of Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross is that you are one Keyblade wielder in amongst many, but of course your player character is the character that befriends the Dandelion Union leaders. So naturally, throughout the MMO, the main quest line is you getting involved with those Union leaders. But at the same time, running around these different worlds in Daybreak Town, you are in amongst other players, like real other players that can be all of the other Keyblade wielders of Daybreak Town. I'm sure at some stage we will end up getting a Kingdom Hearts MMO, just because the interest towards the Kingdom Hearts franchise has been absolutely increasing ever since Kingdom Hearts 3, and this would be the prime opportunity to do that, just considering what the concept of the Kingdom Hearts Key saga is. The story revolves around not an original character, but you as your own player character. Perfect for an MMO. Or I think what would be the easiest option is to release some kind of movie similar to that of Kingdom Hearts Key back cover, have maybe an hour and a half to a 2-hour long movie that goes over the key pivotal points of the Union Cross experience. Now, the only thing that I would find a little bit tricky, or I guess difficult in the fact of a movie setup for a remake of Union Cross would be the player character. I guess they'd just have to come up with Square Enix's own vision of the player character, because the player character can literally be anything. It's what the player, the actual physical player, wants the player character to look like is what the player character looks like, right? So I suppose, yeah, they just have to come up with their own rendition. But because we are moving into the second saga of the Kingdom Hearts series, this is so important. This is important beyond belief. And I honestly, I really, really didn't think that we would get to a point where it's like, okay, no, this needs to happen. Again, it's been made apparent over the past few years with the Key Saga that yes, okay, it's probably a good idea if you guys do something with this. But now we are literally at a point with the Union Cross finale where it's like, you guys are damn stupid if you don't do anything about this. Because the absolute clusterfuck of confusion that will ensue for Saga 2 when that starts to, happen, for people that don't know a damn thing about Key, is gonna be real. It's gonna be a massive clusterfuck. Now yeah, sure, Square could integrate some kind of real quick, snappy, 10-minute type recap for the next major Kingdom Hearts game that we get to catch people up in the sense of the important stuff from Union Cross. However though, man, we've seen the way that Square Enix do these story recap things, and I don't know, man, I think this needs its own proper full-blown experience. I'm referring to that of the memory archives in Kingdom Hearts 3, that little section. People have probably forgotten about it, but you can go down to that at the main menu, and it gives you a recap of the entire story leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, it gives you a basic summary, but because this is Kingdom Hearts, the lore is so vast and sometimes convoluting. People need to know all of the ins and outs. That is my little talk about Union Cross and the fact that it needs to get remade. I would love to know your guys' opinion, and if you are on board with a Kingdom Hearts reunion key, hey, what type of format would you want this game in? I would love to know. However guys, I'm Cynical. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.